Hey all, Cynthia here, back doing an art journal page. So I've pulled out new to me, and there is quite a few new things for me on this spread, but the Dilutions paint there is new, so that is in Old Navy. The brayer that I'm using is new. I use a couple of stamps that is new, and I also I use something else a little bit down the track, I believe, that's new as well. So I've come in here and I'm going to create a background. So my theme at the moment is, or for this page, is going to be a sea-based theme. So I'm just creating the background. I'm going to layer some paints. So that dilutional paint was called Old Navy, I believe. I've pulled a couple of cheaper art craft paints from my stash in navy and dark turquoise, and I thought I would use these inks here to do some stamping, but just not enough contrast, so I go back to the archival black ink, stamp these triangle stamps which are from Teresa Collins. They're new to me as well. So I recently went on a holiday, and while I was away, I didn't come across, I went out of my way to go to a scrapbooking stall, and I purchased a lot of stuff. This is some of the product. So coming in now, adding the horizon. To do that, all I'm going to do is add some dark blue across the middle of the page where I want the horizon to be. And then I'll come in and add this white to be on the top part of the line. So this is the clouds for me on the horizon, and I think it just breaks it up and it makes it quite clear that this is where the horizon line is. Unfortunately, the horizon line does dip down one side. I didn't particularly notice it when it was like that until I swung the book around and I went, it's a bit crooked, and I thought, oh, that won't bother me, but it does. So I do try to fix it a little bit later in the spread. So this started out to be a page that I was going to complete a Take 5 art challenge for this month, and I got the prompts out, and I think there was blue, and can't remember them now, but I certainly was blue. There might have been stamping, collage, butterfly, and I think there's another element as well which I can't remember. Had every intentions of doing that, but as the page went along, I just knew it wasn't going to work, and right to the last minute I thought, I could probably do it. All I was really missing was a butterfly. And I went through and I thought, Cynthia, you could easily just stick a butterfly on here and you'd meet all the criteria, but a butterfly just really wasn't going to go with the spread. So in the end, I just made it a journal page. Coming in, just building layers, adding texture to that background. So the scraping that I'm using with the palette knife is there's some thicker paint and some thinner paint, and there's lots of lines and textures and movements. And so the idea is to build up, make the water and the clouds look like it's a rough, windy day. And in the end, that really works quite well. So while I'm just building up, I'll leave you with a little bit of music, and I'll come back when I move on to the next section. There we go. I've got that bit done at the moment. I do come back in and add some more texture and layers to that background. Not a lot, but just a little bit. So I've moved on to my main image. It's going to be this girl. It's a new stamp again, one of the new stamps that I've received. And it's one of the Centaurio Gorgeous Girls. I think this one might be by airmail. I'm going to call. I'm not real sure whether they actually have names, the stamps, but that's what I'm going to call it. I've been doing a lot of scrapbook pages and layouts at the moment, all based on travel, because I'm documenting the holiday that I went on. So I thought it was appropriate that I continued on the travel theme with this girl and this page. I've sped the colouring up here quite a bit. I'm not the world's greatest colouring, and I have quite a mixture of pens here that I'm going to use. But I just colour her in. I pretty much at this stage stick to the colours that are on the packaging to give me a bit of an idea. But I like the way she comes out in the end. I do come back in off camera and add some white dots and just some highlights and maybe a little bit more shadowing too. So the end she looks quite, it has some good dimension to her. Sorry about my head in the shot through this bit. It's, I need to get a little bit closer. There we go, she's all coloured in, so I just fussy cut her out, and I thought at some point that I might use a few more of the images. That's why I just stamped the whole lot, apart from the fact that I don't have a stamp block that will be big enough, so I decided to leave it on the background. But I did think I might use some of the other images on the page. I don't in the end. So just grabbed my grey there and ran around the edge where I cut it so it doesn't stand out too much. And I've put her down. Now I have to apologise. I laugh because not because I've obviously skipped some footage, which I have, but because I must have pressed pause when I wanted to hit play and play when I wanted to pause, because I actually recorded about half hour of nothing. I obviously paused and went off to do something, but in reality I hit play. So all I've done is I grabbed the some dies out and I ran it through the Big Shot, and I have those circle elements there which are a compass, and they have north, south, east, west on it. I've cut them in half and I've stuck 3 on the page just to continue on with that a travel feel to the page. I've gone into my stash and I pulled out some really textured washi tape. It's got a real fabric feel to it, and I've laid that crisscross across some paper and trimmed it out to be the shape of a bit of a rock or an island, and I'm going to mount my lighthouse on it as well. So the lighthouse is also a die that I have in my stash, and I've cut it out maybe 5 or 6 times. So I had half a dozen times already cut out in the bag. So where I keep the die cut, anyone I've cut out previously, I've just leave them loose in the bag, different colours. So all I did was stuck a dozen of them together. Probably not that many. It's a little bit of an exaggeration there. I would say probably 4 or 5 ones together. I did cut out the red, the top layer, and the white. I've cut that out, added a little bit of what's it called, Nouveau paste, embellishment paste on the edge of it in Old Navy, just to give it, oh hang on, Old Navy was the name of was the name of the Nouveau embellishment paste. So the name of the Delusion paint is Old London. Right, yes, that was it. It's coming back to me now. Anyway, so here we are. I've stuck it all down, glued it all together, made it look right, stuck it all down, and now I'm coming back in and adding some more white acrylic paint here, just so the girl blends in a little bit more. I've made some splashes coming up around her feet and up around the lighthouse. I really love the way that's come together. It's got lots of, the lighthouse in particular has got a lot of dimension and just lots of feel and texture to the page. And this is pretty much it. I add a couple of word phrases, come back with my pen, add some doodly lines around it, and I am done. I did go around the edge of the page with some Nouveau embellishment mousse, and now I'm just adding a bit of a dark texture around the edge as well, and that is it. There is lots of lovely close-up photos, so do stay tuned for those. They show this in some great detail. As always, thank you very much for sticking with me this far. Please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. Love reading all your comments, and I will make sure I answer it where I can. Until next time, everyone have a lovely day, a lovely week, or a lovely month, and I will talk to you on the next video. Until then, bye.